Hey everyone, Pupsker here. So we've had a pretty eventful week all in all in Warframe. On Thursday we had an AMA and we had a primetime Duviri Paradox showcase, and on Friday we got a new trailer for Duviri Paradox, Barrow Katir, its 10th anniversary, so I think it's a double credit weekend, big times. But I wanted to talk about just two things that came out of the AMA in Warframe. A couple of things. So I want to firstly just go over how the development of cross-save is going in Warframe. At this point, Warframe, anything they do, they tend to announce a year plus ahead of time. So whenever they first announce or start talking about something, we just at this point have to accept that it's not ever going to be soon. Obviously, people are wasting their time half the time talking about and asking about cross-save 24/7, but it is what it is. The one forum answer AMA question we got is, yeah, we've mentioned dev streams in the past, right? Team is hard at work on cross-save internally. It'll likely be released in small waves rather than all at once, which is, doesn't really make sense for cross-save. Either you have cross-save enabled or you don't. So in my mind, it's more so that they're working on cross-play still and cross-save, but they're just calling the cross-play functionality cross-save, similar to how we did cross-play last year. In my mind, cross-play is not fully out in Warframe, right? Because the next thing they say is currently the next step is to introduce cross-save clans and settle how friends will be handled for cross-save. All of this just sounds like cross-play, but they're calling it cross-save. So it's most likely tech that has a lot to do with their cross-save issues, and it can't be just fixed through cross-play fixing. So either way, a lot of issues technically behind the scenes that 10 years of Digital Extremes spaghetti code and goobs and fixes and hot fixes may have messed up, may have fixed up. Yeah, it's going to be hard and it's going to take a while to actually have all this. But at least they kind of acknowledge that there's things to handle, account handling and trading, but they're making progress, so clearly it's all slowly coming along. But that's the thing, right? There's not really going to ever be a single thing to say in regards to crossplay or cross-save, right? Until the update's about to hit. That's what I feel like people asking questions and yelling about online don't quite realize. While it might make sense as people just playing a game to constantly ask about cross-save, when's cross-save going to happen, the fact of the matter is the technicalities behind everything is probably more than anyone is really willing to handle, right? As a viewer, right? We don't know what the hell's going on, and as developers, they just have to, over time, get it all fixed up and get it all working. And if it breaks, it'll break everything, so it's not like they can half-ass it, right? It's not like a small hotfix update. It has to fully work successfully, because there's things that could break. Either way, that's just kind of how the cross-save thing's going. I'm expecting we're going to get more cross-save news around Tennocon. Until Tennocon, honestly, do not expect any sort of cross-save things. What's happening in Warframe right now is we're getting Duviri Paradox as the next mainline update, right? We know the generals of what that's going to happen, right? It's going to have incarnate mode, or weapons, I should say, incarnate adapters. It's going to have the weekly leveling system between steel path and non-steel path. You're going to have the circuit for Warframe gameplay mode. You're going to have the story if you just want to run through the story. And then you're going to have a regular Duviri experience where you go between playing as Drifter with Drifter, Decrees, Combat, and then Warframe. So we know what's going to happen. Once the Duviri Paradox update is out, a month to who knows how long, right? Later, we're getting echoes of Duviri. They already said that, so that's going to be the next couple of updates, right? The next two big ones. Duviri's Paradox, or the Duviri Paradox, and echoes of the Duviri's Paradox. So that's probably going to take us to close to Tennocon, or near Tennocon. So I just think it's kind of important to remember that. Cross-save's going to take ages, okay? Once we can finally properly log in across all of our platforms, that's when, in my mind, cross-save is out. I don't know when Warframe fully considers cross-save out. Maybe, hopefully, soon enough, we get full cross-play clan functionality, and then full cross-play friends lists, and then we get full cross-save, right? Because I would assume that's the order. They have to be able to interact, do clans, do friends do trading, and they say that in the post. It's just like they're kind of weird about it. So yeah, it's pretty much crossplay clans and friends, and we'll see how that goes. I'm still considering clans and friends crossplay, not cross save, but hey, I guess in Warframe's mind, full crossplay is just jankily being able to play the game across platforms. So yeah, it is what it is, and we kind of see that there. And the other thing that they mentioned that people weren't really happy about were, honestly, in my opinion, raids are never coming back to Warframe. Like, old Warframe raids are never coming back. How Warframe responded is kind of why I think that. Because they asked about raids, and Digital Extremes just responded, as Pablo, hard to say if we'll get a chance to resuscitate trials with our goals for the year. It's unlikely they'll be coming back. Warframe raids, trials, LOR has been talked about since they've initially been taken out of the game. What, like 7 or so years ago? I can't remember when they were first taken out. That was olden days Warframe raids. They were, I think, what, Trials of Retribution or like Laws of Retribution and Trials of some, I don't know. I can't remember the exact names, but there were like 2 raids. They were 8-player game modes in Warframe, right? Warframe back in the day had raids. I remember when I was more of a young child, I played one of them very jankily. We failed for like an hour and then called her a day. That's all my experience was with raids, because I got into Warframe like 2 years after it started, and raids at that point were almost already taken out of the game. So yeah, raids are one of those things that Warframe has talked about constantly here and there throughout the years, and honestly, it's probably time to just give up, okay? So what Warframe tends to do across all of the years in development, and this makes sense, is they are a developer that is very open and just talk about what's going on in the game development, what they're working on, right? Over time, they've constantly talked and brought up raids because people have constantly talked and brought up raids. They've said multiple times that they would love to bring them back, or like it's a huge issue, but they would like to bring them back if it was ever feasible, right? Like, yeah, they would like to have raids in Warframe, but it just looks like it's never going to happen. The issue originally with raids is every update, they would somehow break the raids with whatever hotfixes, whatever updates they brought. So it, as I recall, was described as an issue they could just never properly solve. So raids for them were too much of a pain to fix and actually keep sustainable in the game, and they just dropped it from development because I guess it was such a jank system that they just couldn't figure it out. Much like Scarlet Spear. We only saw Scarlet Spear in Warframe for like a week or two, or like one rotation. They're never brought it back again. They'll never bring it back, and it seems like 8-player gameplay modes are just too much for Warframe to handle, so it's a little depressing. But that's how I see this entire situation. Like Warframe, they're getting crossplay, cross-save out, yeah. Raids are never coming back. Like old Warframe raids are never coming back. That being said, 100% chance, there is a decent enough chance, right, that Warframe could bring old, or like new raids, sorry. They could have a new style of raid, new type of game mode, right? Third Orb Mother, Orb Weaver, whatever, in Fortuna. That could be a technical raid. We already kind of have raids in a sense, if you think about it, through like Archon fights and boss battles, but obviously those aren't like raids as most would put it. So Warframe's a weird game. The devs acknowledge and are aware that they just don't know how to make the game really challenging and really difficult because it's like a power creep, power fantasy game. So the idea of raids makes sense, but as of right now, it just doesn't look like Warframe is going to pull it off. I was looking at a ton of the comments in the crossplay, cross-save, raids video going over the AMA. And a lot of people are like, yeah, it sucks that we can't really have raids in Warframe because Warframe doesn't have any hard content that you really need to be on comms for, like at all. Eidolons are the closest thing we have to like a proper raids boss fight, and everyone can do that off comms, no problem, in Plains of Eidolon. Since raids were removed, people are like, yeah, it's just kind of taken away some social aspects of everything, and that kind of sucks. So feels bad, man. People were excited for Infested Liches whenever that happens, maybe next year, but people are still very sad about raids and lack thereof in Warframe. But raids have never really been a thing in Warframe other than the beginning, and that just kind of sucks. It is what it is, but I feel like at this point, only a lot of the like olden day players really have played the original raids, and more of like the new gen players are looking at raids kind of like a conceptual idea in Warframe, which is fair. Like, we have other games, other MMOs, Destiny, right, to look at what a raid type fight can be, and we just look at Warframe and we just don't think that's happening. Either way, just a sad, depressing video today. I just wanted to talk about a couple of those things because those were the two big talking points about that AMA, and at least the two things that I found more interesting. They have 5 years of Warframe planned out in a sense, but it looks like raids, at least the old raids, are not going to be a part of that. We'll get our crossplay, cross-save news soon enough whenever they actually give it to us, but sadly, there's not really much to talk about until there's something to talk about. So, yep, it is what it is. I do hope we get an eventual Warframe style of raid gameplay, but I don't know if Warframe knows how to do that properly anymore, because it's not really something they've ever done properly since the last 2 raids that have been ex-con from the game for the longest of times. So, yeah, they can make a fun, chill game, but Warframe seems like they just can't make an end game styled game because it's a power fantasy. So maybe what they want people to do more so is run the circuit to level 9999 or as far as possible. But who really knows? It just seems like sucky news in regards to people who want raids, and cross-save, cross-play stuff is just wait and see. So yeah, hopefully this helps. Good chat. I just wanted to have a little video talking about that with the new Duviri Paradox gameplay in the background. I'm just kind of chilling, waiting for the update, taking a look at news, and crying as a bunch of AMA stuff just shattered our Warframe player dreams. So it is what it is, but that's Warframe, baby. They love to talk about a lot of stuff because they have a lot of streams, but what they follow through on and what they deliver on is never what they originally planned out, because remember all of the systems, Railjack, the New War, right? Whenever they talked about that originally as a system, it was so much more grandiose than when it came out. And that's always been what Warframe is. They talk big and they deliver less. While it's still a good, fun, great game, it's just that's important to remember. Warframe devs can never live up to the hype that they have built up for themselves in the community. And that's just how it's always been, and it's how it always will be, okay? It is what it is. It's a fact of life, and it's a fact of Warframe. So don't hate me too hard. Don't hate anyone too hard. It just is what it is. And yeah, thank you all for being here. I'll see you later. When Duviri Paradox is out, it's out, and we'll have some fun playing it. So until then, I see you. Cheers.